What's up, guys? It's your girl Serpentine 10, and I want to talk about a topic that seems like has not came to the attention of a lot of people because we're in a interesting fighting game renaissance, as you would like to say, and it's really good to be a fighting game player right now because we have so many games that we could play, and one of those main games is Street Fighter 6. So as you know, we're probably waiting for our next character to come out for Street Fighter 6, which is probably going to be that the whole SNK crossover thing is happening right now. And I was looking at all the fighting games that were out right now, and I noticed a trend. There's a lot of 2D fighters, but there's not a lot of 3D fighters. And that's the topic we're going to talk about today is where are all the 3D fighters? Now, you guys know that Tekken 8 is the most popular 3D fighter right now. And it kind of sucks for people. If you are a lover of 3D fighting games like me, you don't really have a lot of choices other than Tekken 8. So that means that you pretty much have to play your fair share of the millions, and I mean millions, of 2D fighting games that they are. I mean, there's tons of them. Not only Street Fighter 6, there's also, if you like Guilty Gear, you can play Guilty Gear. So Guilty Gear actually got a, new update with a character. I believe that it's Dizzy. I believe that this is the same Dizzy from the other game that wore like the Christian type outfit. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the hugest fan of Guilty Gear, but I know that they have a new character now. So they're updating their game, and this game is pretty popular with the, people that love Guilty Gear Strive. This is another 2D fighter that you can get your hands on if you love 2D fighters. Also, we have another game that you can play, and it's new, but it's going to be coming out real soon, and that is Project L. So Project L is a brand new game that's going to be coming out, and it's with the League of Legends characters. Now, I never did know who asked for this or who even, wrote down at the boardroom meeting that they wanted this game, but it seems like this is going to be very popular when this comes out. I can definitely see the fighting game scene liking this, but this is also another 2D fighter that exists, and there's so many. I mean, we're not even getting into the indie scene when it comes to 2D fighters. Mostly every fighting game that I see nowadays is 2D. Now, that's probably because it's just easier to make those games and it doesn't require a lot, but it's just so funny how all we have is just 2D fighters and no 3D fighters, and 3D fighters used to exist in a pretty big, consumption of those, but not anymore. And I'm gonna list some of those 3D fighters that used to be here, but they're just not. So we're going to start off with Tekken 8. Obviously, Tekken 8 is the most popular 3D fighter right now. And it just looks like if you are playing 3D fighters in any capacity right now, the only one you got to go to is Tekken 8 if you want a new, fresh experience in anything. Now, it's kind of funny because Tekken has been here for quite some time in a lot of iterations, but it has been on top when it kind of comes to the 3D fighters, and it's kind of not lost its spot, even though Tekken has had some crazy mixed reviews, and I understand why, and a lot of that came from just people being displeased with, when DLC came out, and they don't really like a lot of the patches and the updates of the games, and people have been thinking negatively on this game as of late, but I'm hoping that that changes because, the last thing we need is Tekken not to be here. I mean, we don't even have the other games here to even be with, the, fighting game renaissance with a 3D fighter. So losing Tekken to all this would be devastating. So this game definitely needs to stay on top because right now, this is all we pretty much got. Now I want to talk about DOA. So DOA has been a franchise that I have always loved, but DOA 6 did not work out. Now their last game, which was Last Round, was very good. Probably the best DOA game they've ever created. But, with the DLC prices and, the the whole thing about the costumes, and it was just a lot of stuff going on with this game that just did not work out for Koei Tecmo. And it's kind of a shame because I actually love DOA, and I just feel like this is a game that should be here. I'm actually surprised that this game actually was done for in the same year almost that it launched, and it just is really weird. They had a lot of stuff that they were going to come out with, and it didn't even get to that point. So to see that DOA right now is just kind of just non-existent is very strange, and it's not the only game that is like that. We also going to talk about another franchise that should definitely be here with the 3D fighters. So I'm going to talk about Virtual Fighter. So you know the ongoing gag is, when is Sega going to drop Virtual Fighter? We need a new Virtual Fighter. We do. This is like the grandfather, the egg before the chicken of 3D fighters is Virtual Fighter. The fact that this game is just not here in a bigger, way is crazy to me, because a lot of what we know now about 3D fighters, they kind of got that from Virtual Fighter. And we have been waiting for a new game to drop. Sega never talks about it. They kind of hint at it every once and again, but they just never do anything with this franchise, and I just don't understand what's going on with it. I feel like this definitely should be here. It's so weird that it's just in this drought with this game, and I always hear the funny thing that this is just the old head game. If you're over 40, you're playing Virtual Fighter, but I feel like this franchise needs to come back, and it needs to be looked at by a new set of eyes from a newer, modern audience, and it needs to be redone, revamped, and it needs to just show up, and just be here, because we don't have 3D fighters, and this is one of the classic 3D fighters, and it needs to be a part of the renaissance. Now I'm going to talk about Soul Calibur 6. So Soul Calibur 6 is a very interesting conversation, because Bandai Namco did say if the sales were not good for this game, they weren't going to make another one. So I'm not really sure where the sales were at when it came to Soul Calibur 6. It seemed like it had an interesting lineup. It even had 2B on this game, but I don't really know what else happened to this game. I don't know what the sales were looking like. I don't know if people really appreciated, the guest characters, or did they appreciate Soul Calibur 6 at all? I did like this when I bought it. I loved playing as Geralt from The Witcher. I thought that 2B was really cool, but I just feel like this is another one of those games that are the classic 3D fighters that should be here. And I know that, Bandai Namco is spending all their time with Tekken 8 right now. That's like their baby right now. So maybe they just don't want to spend time on two projects, and they're just kind of like letting Soul Calibur just kind of sit on the sidelines for right now, and they might come back with this franchise, but not having it a part of this, 3D fighting game, lineup that we desperately need is very weird. And it just seems like all the 3D fighters that I have mentioned so far are just not here. And it would have been like great if they all were here, because we just have so many 2D fighters, and it's just oversaturated with 2D fighters. And don't get me wrong, I understand that they're easier to make, but it kind of feels weird because 3D games are like, they're special, and they need to be here. And just having Tekken 8, running the show is strange, and it is odd, because you really wonder to yourself, where's all the other games, and will they even come back ever? So I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that we have way too many 2D fighters? And what can be done to, get this 3D fighting game stuff on the road? And what is really going on with no 3D fighting games? Is it just that the, practices of those games are just bad? A lot of them have died because, business practices have been bad. And also it's just kind of like either the community have not been really liking the games, or has it just been that, whatever the production is with these games are just not working with the modern day crowd, and they just prefer 2D fighters more? But we really do need to get down to the heart of the issue, because 3D fighters really do need to be here, because I'm sure Tekken 8 is tired of carrying all the weight on its back. But you guys let me know what you think about this topic, and you know what to do. Make sure you guys are following me on my Twitter, and make sure you guys check me out here every week on YouTube. Until next time, guys, peace.